Alright, so today I'm going to review the Zhiyun crane. I've had it for about 2 months. I've used it on a couple weddings, a couple nightclub gigs, and this is my new favorite toy. I have the Birdie Cam 2, which is kind of like the Ronin. It's a big stabilizer. I'm still going to keep that. It has a big cage. It can support a lot of weight. I can put a monitor on it. I can put microphones on it, a lot of different attachments. It is big and bulky, and I'll use that more in like a corporate setting or a professional setting because it just looks professional walking into the room, where this doesn't look as professional. You'll probably get the same job done with a lighter setup, but this is the Zhiyun crane. Alright, so when you first get this, it does not come with this right here, but it does have a 1/4-20 on the bottom, and this is the base where the batteries fit into. And I put the 1/4-20 on here, and I'll show you a couple examples why. The first one is it comes with this little tripod, and I put a quick release adapter on here, so I can take this, put it on here, and this is my starting spot for it. The other thing I did is I put a quick release adapter on here, so that way I'm not always unscrewing it and it stays in its spot, because this is part of leveling it. So the first thing you're going to want to do is screw these together after you put the batteries in. So there we go. That is our stabilizer. That's how big it is. So you got the bottom piece, this top piece with the stabilizer, and then you got a joystick and your on and off button. So you have this screw right here that moves this back and forth. You have this screw right here that moves this plate up and down. And then you have this screw that moves it side to side to help stabilize it. And the very first thing you need to do is, when you put your camera, whether you screw it on here or get a plate, is decide which 3 slots you want to use depending on the size of your camera. I normally have my A7S on here, but for this example I'm going to put my 6300 on here. So what you're going to do is you're going to find out where it balances best. And so you have the 3 slots, and you can offset the balance with this screw right here. So what you're going to do is you're going to put this on here, mount this, and then slide this back and forth until this is level. So it's a little bit off. We're going to slide it just a little bit. And now that part is balanced. First time I did this, it took me a little while to figure out how to balance that, but then after that it was pretty easy. Setting up for different events, I could balance it very quickly. So that's the first part. The next part that you're going to want to balance is this right here. And so you're going to want the camera to be facing straight up or straight down. You don't want it to tilt this way and tilt this way. So by screwing this, we can adjust this just a little bit and get it setting. See where that sits. So it's pretty, maybe a little bit forward. That stays up and down. So that's pretty balanced. The very last thing we got to balance, so if you can see this, is this screw right here. And what I like to do is put the tripod, and I'm going to lean it sideways, and this part right here, we want to make sure that this doesn't go this way or that way when we slide it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the camera, and now we're going to tilt it. And this does not move. If it moves one way or the other, if it moved this way, we're going to slide it forward. If it tilted that way, then we're going to slide it forward. So depending on which way it moves. And so I'll go this way so you guys can see. See how that stays perfectly straight. So we're good there. Check it again. It's a little far forward right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this, unscrew this, and slide the whole camera body back just a hair. There we go. So right now, that looks pretty good with this one, this one, this one, and this underneath. So the next thing, take this off. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to power this on. There we go. So this is mode number 1, and what it's going to do is it's going to keep it stable wherever I move this. The one thing about this is a 3-axis gimbal, not a 4th. So it has no access for up and down. So when you're walking, you still need to walk pretty steady, or else it's going to get the movement going this way. Not this way, not this way, but up and down. It's still going to pick up that movement. So you still got to walk pretty steady when it comes to that. Now this gimbal, the way it is, it's meant to stay forward, but it's meant to walk. I call this walking mode because when I turn my hand a certain degrees, it's going to pan with it. It's not going to do it at first, but eventually it's going to catch up and it's going to pan. So when I'm walking around a room, it's still smooth, but as long as I do this, it's going to engage. Now once I get past a certain degree, this no longer moves. Go back down here, and now it's starting to follow in that, what I call that walking mode. That's mode number 1. So when I'm walking around a room and I want to pan different ways, I've done that. Now this mode, you can also pan up and down. So if I pan up and I go up, it stops. So I'll do that again. So if I'm panning up and I go up, it's going to stop. As soon as I stop going up, it starts panning again. So a lot of times what I will do is I will pan up and move the camera down, and it still continues. So if I pan down and go up, it still follows that motion. But if I go down and I try to go down, it stops. Go down and try to go down, it stops. So you need to go the opposite. It's the brain itself is thinking that it's helping you out when it's really not. So now we're going to go into the second mode, and you change the modes by pushing the button in the back. Now watch, when I spin the camera around, the camera does not move. Now I have full functionality of panning up and down, and now I can move it left and right. But no matter where I move this, the camera wants to stay in a good direction. So when I'm walking, I'll sometimes use this mode if I'm walking in a straight line, because any little movement is going to change the direction of the camera up or down. But now this is going to keep it, no matter where I move this, it's going to keep it pointed in a certain direction. So this could be good for ceremonies when you're following a bride and you want that super buttery smooth shot. This is what you're going to use that for, and I absolutely love this thing being handheld. So this is a great tool to have. It also comes with a remote, so you can control it Bluetooth. Now this is my secret and why I think this thing is so valuable. Alright, so remember how we put it on a quick release plate? So now this is what we use to balance it. But now we're going to take this off. And what I have here is just a cheap little monopod. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to place it now in here. And now we have an extended stick that we can use, almost like a jib. And I can extend this all the way out, if you guys can see that. But now you can, extend this out tons and tons of feet and use this for a lot of different purposes, being in the shot. So let me go back and change the mode now. So now it's in that follow mode. So now we can extend out, and how we switch our hands, it can change. And I think this is a game changer, especially when it comes to weddings, getting super, super low ground shots, following a bride. Now you don't have to be right behind her. When you're doing some reveals from walls and stuff, this is great. And so I'm adding this to my wedding kit. It's great for the on-the-go videographer, and to me it's a game changer. So I highly recommend this. This is the Zhiyun crane. I picked it up for like 650 bucks. It's great for the mirrorless camera. I normally throw on my A7 with a 16 to 35 millimeter lens on here, and for the events that I do, walking around, it's really great. A lot of people that do, when I do like my vlogs, a lot of people use their cell phone, and they love that selfie cell phone image. And to me, it's really, really shaky. It's moving around. But when you put a camera on there, you can mock, you can mock that cell phone selfie. And now you have a very, very steady picture, where most people, it's really, really shaky. And so that's why I went ahead and picked this up. Highly recommend it. And to me, this is a game changer when it comes to getting very, very steady shots.